glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Vasalut and welcome. Happy Friday. I want to assure Lynn Green you were first in the chat, but I'm going to bring up Big Al's comment first because his is the perfect introduction for, he says, what may Troy be sipping on? I would think something warm, but I guess we'll find out. And yes, he is correct. It is something warm. And we'll get to what specifically is in the cup right now. But before I took a sip, I wanted to not miss out on his perfect introduction to that. But I am going to go back and say hi to Lynn Green, who is repeating her comment from 12:30 this morning. And I'll actually have a brief little story of why I was posting at that time and wasn't already in bed. We'll get to that in a moment. But a new stream, chat playing at your feet, and overhead, fluttering in the breeze, the flag of the Federation. And I feel like that should be set to music, but I'm not quite getting the tune in my head. Speaking of which, karaoke stream tonight for those that can make it. Maybe that won't drop off. It did not. It did not. And he says, have a great stream. You as well, my friend, including the Films with Friends this evening. Make sure you drop a comment and maybe even a link to it in the chat to let everybody know about that. But, yep, you got to be pretty early to beat Big Al. That's for darn sure. That's for darn sure. I think he's stalking me, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Pizza break over 150 pages left to read. Yeah, pizza. I might be ordering pizza maybe tonight or tomorrow. Don't know which. And there's Netter calling me the love of her life. It's a Friday, but I wouldn't be surprised if she isn't still having to take some sort of meeting today. Connie Cleary, the Bird Woman of YouTube, and Fluff Chick Productions. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Netter says, like, share, subscribe, comment, become a member, gift a membership. Yes. Am I worth 16 cents to you? Because that's what it works out to. Regular membership works out to 16 cents a day. And that's what it takes to keep this channel going. I am striving for 200 members by the end of the year. You guys helped me make 100 members in 2025. If every one of those members now were to gift a membership, we'd hit 200 like that. But that's not usually how it works. But thank you so much for that. And we got Nate underscoring that same thought. Like, share, subscribe, comment, become a member. And if you were going to give a super chat of $5 or more, why not gift a membership instead and make our family grow? That would be so, so wonderful. Let's see. Oh, and boy, talk about putting his money where his mouth is. He has gifted a membership to Tazu. That's the ad handle for the account. I don't know if that's the name that's intended, because thank you so much, YouTube, for deciding how we see our members' names or our subscribers' names. But welcome, Tazu, to membership, and thank you so much, Nate, for the gifted membership. And speaking of members, there's another one right there. Wilkie's Movies and Music. Corey has a great channel over there, and if you stay with us right till the end, I will chauffeur you over there for his Friday Cinema Talk, as we do every Friday. Aged Boomer says, howdy, howdy, howdy. He'll be, of course, my co-host tonight for that karaoke bash that I was telling you about. And apparently that was a quote from Star Trek 3 that I just haven't seen quite as much as I've seen Star Trek 2. So I'm going to have to refresh my memory on that. Thank you so much, Fletcher Williams, I Suck at Games channel, who says, hugs and stay warm. Alexa, how cold is it out there?
Well, it's not exactly beach weather, Troy. The current temperature is -6 degrees with a feels like of -4. There's an extreme cold warning in effect until noon today, with wind chills as low as 40 below zero.
Thanks, Alexa.
You just made my day. Bundle up out there.
Well, I won't be going out in it. You'll notice that although she's gotten to be a much better conversationalist, she takes much longer in between, because she literally has to relay. The thought process doesn't happen at the Echo Dot. It happens back at Amazon Studios or whatever it is, whatever it's called. But yeah, -6 out there. Oh, feels like -4. That wind chill actually makes it a little bit warmer, apparently. I don't know. But it's going to get even colder this weekend. So yeah, definitely trying to stay warm. And yes, tonight at 8 Eastern, that's 7 Central, Deathstalker 2 with Big Al and deleted scenes over on Big Al's channel. Make sure you go watch that. That's a great lead in to the last call for tonight. Mark has arrived. He says, Mech po, it's lunchtime. -7 for Rurapente. These really are Rurapente type temperatures, aren't they? My goodness. Penny. Getting bread before it's all gone. Yeah, I heard that a lot of people were kind of swarming the shops and whatnot and clearing it all out. And I guess toilet paper is another thing that goes very quickly. Netter and I didn't do any special shopping. We are really pretty much already stocked. Because ever since 2019, we've learned, you know what? Let's always keep stores of everything we'll need, enough to make sure that we can get through a significant amount of time in case of any emergency. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going to make things difficult and can't start until 1:30 p.m. Central, but thanks as always for the support. Well, there you go. What, 1:30? So it's only a half hour. That's not a big deal. I'm still going to forward to that stream. This way, if I go a little bit over, I don't feel bad. So that works out just fine. Let's see here. Mark says he watched a wonderful parody on YouTube last night. Starfleet Woke Academy. Yes, pretty spot on. It's gotten so bad that even the supporters of that kind of thing are going, okay, this is going a bit far. This is going a bit far. I don't know if it's true, but apparently Holly, what is her name? Holly Hunter, the main actress, came out and kind of blasted it. She apparently leaked audio of a behind the scenes discussion she was having with the showrunner and the director and whatnot. She was expressing her concerns about how far it was going and how they were putting ideology in place of it, completely eliminating any kind of story. And a lot of the people that appeared in it were saying that they were constantly doing rewrites to the point that they're not even sure if the writers even know what story they're trying to tell at this point, if any. Krug, Torg, and Maltz reviewing the Genesis proposal. Yeah, I've said this many times about Star Trek 3. If you watch it from the point of view of the Klingons, they're not wrong. That Genesis device absolutely could be the equivalent of a Death Star from the Klingons' point of view, right? Even when Spock, Kirk, and Spock, Kirk, and McCoy are talking about the Genesis device in Star Trek 2. What happens if there's life on the planet already? It gets overwritten by the new Matrix. And they all realize that's literally wiping out all life on a planet to colonize a new planet. In the wrong hands, that would be bad, bad, bad. What is she talking about? It's only 78 degrees. Screw you, Florida, Wang of United States, for crying out loud. DC dropping a couple teasers for Momoa's Lobo. I'm sure it looks great. It's perfect casting, but I'll be honest with you. I'm not supporting any of the Gunverse. No. If you want some input on a headcanon idea of what a good cinematic universe for the DC universe would be, join my MeWe group. What is it? Like Fixing the DCEU or something like that. We've got thoughts, and I intend to do more videos on that in the future. They get a little crazy here in North Carolina. Yep. Impressive they can make planets. A quiet stroll with your woman at your side, children playing at your feet, and up above, fluttering in the breeze, the flag of the Federation. Yep. Yeah, Fern caused me to cancel sketching the privateer today. Gotta cross the red early so the staff can get out before it hits. Yeah, I understand. I hate that Holly Hunter is attached to this. I'm a huge fan. Well, if you follow the news about this, it was actually Mark who sent an article about, or a link to a video about it, and apparently, like I said, she was not happy about it. She tried to warn us, and I guess the hashtag Holly was right, or Holly warned us, or something like that, started trending, just makes me respect her a little bit more, to be honest with you. Now, I got to be honest. As bothered as I am by seeing a so-called Starfleet captain, sitting all hunched over with her feet up, reading a book in a captain's chair, that's poor decorum. It's a bad look for a captain. Kind of cute when Holly Hunter does it. Just saying. Yeah, exactly. From McCoy's point of view too, he realized the problem, and I'm sure that Kirk and Spock got it too. Although I'm sure that, they're more of the, but the Federation's good, that we're not the wrong hands, right? Troy, did you see the Master of the Universe teaser trailer? It looks like it's going to be an incredibly frustrating movie because there's so much that looks right and so much that's so wrong. I agree, 100%. 100%. Stone Cold Loki, we got YouTube royalty here. Chang's plan to destroy Earth in Star Trek VI was to smuggle the Genesis device onto Earth. That plan died with him over Kittimer. Is that from the novel? Because I don't remember that from the movie. Great idea, though. In the novels after the Borg annihilation, they considered trying to make Genesis work, rebuild Risa and all the other lost worlds. I don't see why not. Look, it's not the technology that's evil. We always say this in defense of the Second Amendment. Charge people with crimes, not the tool. The Federation is not benevolent as they would have people believe. Genesis, what they did to the changelings in the secret lab. Oh, yeah. Well, don't even get me started on Section 31 and Card Season 3. I consider those completely to be non-canon. And I want to get caught up because you guys have so many comments and I want to get to what I'm sipping on here. The game Star Trek Klingon Academy featured a Genesis-like device to be dropped on Earth. I'm sure they were probably working from the notes for Star Trek 6. So glad to hear that. She's been a great talent for years. Highly recommend my favorite movie she's ever made, Steven Spielberg's version of Ghost called Always, and got Dreyfuss in. I'm going to have to look into that. Always. In fact, if I don't actually open up a tab about it, I'll forget. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like John Goodman's in it too. Yep, Richard Dreyfuss. Audrey Hepburn's in it too? Holy crap, how have I not seen this movie? Damn, I got to see this movie. Okay. Got to check this out. Christopher Plummer came back. Okay, so you're referring to that bit from Klingon Academy. Again, that's beta canon, but I'll accept it. I absolutely accept it. Especially when it comes to the Klingons, I am always open to beta canon that doesn't conflict with alpha canon. I consider head canon for as far as I'm concerned. Always is a great film. I may consider that for the members' night at the movies now, guys. I did get some suggestions from the members. We'll revisit that in a bit, but let me get to what I am sipping on now. And if you dropped a comment and I didn't see it and didn't acknowledge you, please go ahead and it's not spam if you say it again, because I don't want to miss no one. You're all so very, very important to me. Let me share my screen. And unfortunately, you got to see a double up of my ugly mug, but that is just temporary. Let me go ahead and bring this up. So what am I sipping on from this mug? Hot buttered rum. Of course it is. I know we've probably talked about this before, but it is so cold, I think it needs to be revisited. So So this is in the voice of who's the author here? Fred Yarm. This isn't me speaking. This is Fred Yarm. If you haven't watched the video for Klingon Academy, look it up. Shows how Kang lost his eye. Yes. I want to say I have all the footage of several different playthroughs of it from various people on YouTube, because one of the things I like to do with game footage that is that narrative is edit them together into a movie. I did the same thing with the Star Trek Klingon, the one with Robert O'Reilly. I edited that down into a Klingon episode and made a bunch of discs of it and handed it out to all of the local Klingons when I had a Hitler celebration here. Oh, gosh, it's got to be about 20 years ago now. In fact, one of my old 386 computers became a legacy system where I maxed out the RAM and the VRAM and everything just so that I could run Star Trek Klingon and those old Klingon games. I'm sorry. I want to one more time give attribution to this author. Fred Yarm says, one of my favorite winter restoratives, a hot buttered rum. I grew up to love and understand this drink during my first winter at Loyal 9 in Cambridge in 2015. As part of our commitment to marry the restaurant's food and drink programs, I designed a traditional butter batter that incorporated both the classic winter spices and the ones in Chef Mark Sheenhan's unique interpretation of piccalilli, a British version of an Indian mustard pickle. During that brackingly cold winter at Loyal 9, hot buttered rum was served both as a warm up for guests settling in from the chilly outdoors, as well as the end of a meal paired with dessert. I can see that too. That makes sense. The history of adding butter to hot drinks dates back to mid 1500s England during the reign of Henry VIII, when Andre Bourde recommended it in hot ale for hoarse throats. I could see that. An actual recipe for a hot buttered beverage was transcribed by Thomas Dawson in 1594, well before rum was transported to the other side of the Atlantic from Barbados in the 1600s. Now, surprisingly, at some point, the drink switched from being viewed as medicinal to recreational. Why not both? I don't see a problem with that. It doesn't have to be strictly for medicinal purposes, as a certain country doctor once and will say. Cocktail historian David Wandrick was unable to pinpoint when exactly hard spirits entered into the preparation of into the preparation instead of a beer or wine, but he surmises that the New England colonies were a likely suspect. Spirits were a major part of our trade, whether it was buying rum from the Caribbean or the molasses base to make rum locally. But buttered rum did get noticed in Britain. Charles Dickens mentioned the beverage in 1854 novel Hard Times as a way to pick up one's spirits, but this would have been after his trips to America, starting in where was it? Starting in the 1840s. By 1862, American bartender Jerry Thomas, talk about him a lot on this channel, put recipes down on paper and wrote instructions for plain and spiced versions, calling for Jamaican rum in The Bartender's Guide. We talk about that book a lot, too. The drink got a major boost in the 1930s and 40s from two disparate sources. One was in Kenneth Roberts' 1937 novel and 1940 movie, The Northwest Passage, about soldier life on the American frontier during the French and Indian War around 90 years prior. The other part of the revival was the blossoming tiki movement that started in the 1930s. Tiki forefather Trader Vic, and we've talked about him as well, used butter batters in his Northwest Passage, and which I'm assuming was received from the same inspiration, and hot buttered rum cow recipes. And other tropical themed bars followed suit over the next few decades in variations like Hot Tiger's Milk and the Hot Zombie. I'm going to have to look into this Hot Zombie. It sounds like something good for when things start getting cooler in October. In the last 15 years or so, hot buttered rum has regained some popularity as the craft cocktail renaissance brings new eyes and early American to early American cocktail literature. The bartenders have found it to be a recipe ripe for experimentation. Some have changed the batter's sweetener using alternative sugars and even honey, molasses, or maple syrup in the mix. Honey and maple syrup. Those sound incredibly intriguing. I may have to look into that a bit. I usually go with brown sugar, but molasses might actually be great. And honey too. Yeah. Good idea. And oh gosh, maybe even a mixture. I don't know. I'm gonna have to start experimenting. Others have guised up the lengthening agent from the traditional hot water to more flavored liquid like apple cider. Ooh, I haven't thought of that. That's a great idea. And there's plenty of room for experimentation with spices. Yeah. Just like I did with the colonial version of British Indian combination years ago at Loyal 9. And rum is not the only spirit that works here, with whiskey and brandy being obvious contenders. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could use any hard liquor. You could use vodka, but kind of like water, it doesn't bring anything to the party except for the alcohol. So, I that's why this just feels right to be rum. I think it's sweeter and toastier. I even switched things up by offering Chef Sheenan's favorite option, a bitter Merlot liquor, which got the attention of the Chicago food media, where that spirit has been a long time cult following. In the recipes that follow, I offer drinks that include both spirited and non-alcoholic versions. How do you even make a non-alcoholic version? As well as an updated spice blend to keep the centuries-old tradition alive and make it modern again. And I even provide suggestions for I found hot buttered coffee to be delightful. My grandmother used to like hot buttered coffee in the morning, and hot buttered cider as a great accompaniment to a sunset. So, first, I want to one last time. I'm going to hit the for this week. I'm going to hit the promotions. Refill my drink. Please note that I did not change out the Thursday Things promo because our guest couldn't make it. So it's still true for this coming Thursday. So just give me 3 minutes, okay? Thanks.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Netter's Network, if you love a good yarn, you'll love who Netter's sitting down with. Storyman Jack fashions original audio stories of all genres and talks about how to write for the would-be author. Join them this Thursday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Netter's Network.
This week, on Saturday Night at the Movies, a death row guard learns that a gentle giant in his charge possesses a mysterious gift. Tom Hanks and Michael Clark Duncan star in this deep, compelling, and emotional narrative by Stephen King. It's The Green Mile. This Saturday at a special time, 8 Central, 9 Eastern on Netter's Network.
In a world where nearly all the entertainment is remakes, reboots, and rehashes of older properties, maybe it's worth it to get some commentary from people who experienced it all when it was novel and fresh. Catch Boomer and Pacelli on Geeky Geezers every Sunday night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. Exterminate!
This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, the Superfans are presenting Part 2 of Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, Teresa Banks, and the Last Days of Laura Palmer, the fan edit of Fire Walk With Me interspersed with the missing pieces. Join us to watch live off-platform and hear the commentary on deleted scenes and affiliates, Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern.
This week on Last Call presents the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. What seems at first to be a harmless prank played upon a red-headed man is soon revealed to be much more. A sinister scheme devised by the Napoleon of crime. How will Holmes unravel the machinations of the Red-Headed League? We'll find out this Tuesday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Thank you so much, Nate. He's got to get back to work, but he'll see us tonight. Thank you for the $2 super chat. You didn't have to drop a $2 super chat just to say that, but I like the idea. $2 if you want to leave the stream early. No, but there you go. Hot bunking it with Nate is the Tired Midnight blogger Curtis Selby, who says it's lunchtime. He just got here. There you go. Welcome, welcome. So let's get back to the hot buttered rum. Butter Batter is the refrigerator stable vehicle for a bounty of late autumn and winter beverages, from classic hot buttered rum to non-alcoholic delights like hot buttered coffee and hot buttered cider. Here are two options. The first utilizes the classic winter spice blend of cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and allspice. And the second sounds less traditional, but works rather well in these drinks, namely Chinese 5-spice. You could even try tinkering with the recipe with a butter infused with garam masala or ras el hanout. Okay, if I knew what those were. For the classic, well, let me get my head out of the way there. Actually, you know what? I could probably just move my head to the other side, I suppose. I don't know if that helps any. For the classic butter batter. So it's half teaspoon ground cinnamon, quarter teaspoon ground cloves, quarter teaspoon freshly grated nutmeg, quarter teaspoon ground allspice, 4 ounces by weight salted butter, sliced and at room temperature, 8 ounces by weight demerara or turbinado sugar. In other words, brown sugar, guys. You know. For the Chinese 5-spice, 4 ounces by weight salted butter, 1 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice, and 8 ounces by weight of brown sugar, right? Either grind your own whole spice or use pre-ground spice powder or a mix of both. Note that freshly ground or grated is preferred. Yes, you will always get a better flavor using freshly ground spices. And if you've had it sitting on your in your pantry for a year, 2 years, 3 years, it doesn't go bad in that you're going to get sick from it or anything like that, but there's going to be much less flavor to it, almost to the point of not being worth it. Instructions. Oh, I just clicked on the wrong thing. Instructions for both versions. Toast the spices in a warm pan until fragrant. Add spices to a bowl with the butter and sugar and mix with a fork. I understand that. Sure. I'd use a whisk, though. Once the batter is well blended, place it in a covered container and refrigerate overnight to allow the spices to bloom into the butter mix. Keep the batter refrigerated in between uses, and the batter can be frozen at the end of the season. Batter will be similar to the consistency of molasses cooking dough. Interesting. Screw the vegans. Hot buttered rum is believed to be a New England invention, although hot buttered drinks were well known in Europe for their throat-soothing qualities well before the American colonies were established. Aged rums seem to do the best here, given rum's roundness and complementary flavors of barrel aging, but I have found this contribution as delightful with whiskey like bourbons, cognac, apple brandy. Apple brandy would probably be a good one for this. Even bitter Amaro and combinations thereof. So to make one drink, 1.5 ounces of aged rum, such as Privateer New England Reserve, 2 or 3 heaping teaspoons of spiced butter batter of your choice to taste, and 6 ounces of boiling water. I now think that apple cider might actually be preferable. I'm going to have to think about that. Perhaps a small preheat. Yes, and the preheating is important. Preheat a coffee mug. You don't want to be putting this into a cold mug. You want this warm to touch. And in fact, if you're boiling water for this, you just pour some hot water into it, swish it around, dump it out. There you go. Oh, I'm kind of getting ahead of what it says here. Dump the water, add the rum, butter batter, and hot water. Stir to mix. Feel free to add a little more water or change the amount of it. This is always true for recipes, right? When they give you exact amounts for spices, and then they say, well, you could use more of this, less of this, whatever. It's your recipe. Always do it to taste, especially with the spices. Cut out the spices you don't like. Add more of the spices you do. Throw in a spice that you like, that you think would go well with it. Hot buttered coffee and cider. Now I'm thinking about the cider. While hot buttered rum is a classic, the batter works amazingly well, even in a non-alcoholic drink. The richness of the dairy and sweetness of the sugar and the flavors of the spices all complement a morning cup of coffee, and perhaps a decaf version later at night. Moreover, the spices and the spices and smoothness work well for making something akin to mulled cider, which is a house favorite in the uh, later autumn sunsets. So for that, you'd use 8 ounces of hot coffee and 2 heaping teaspoons of spiced butter batter, or 8 ounces cloudy apple cider, non-alcoholic. By cloudy, you should probably get raw apple cider. That's the way to go. It's also much, much tastier. Or make it yourself. May do another video on that someday. 2 heaping teaspoons of spiced butter batter. And I think in both cases, 3 would be better. Add the coffee and the batter and give a quick stir. The recipe is scalable. Add 1 heaping teaspoon batter for every 4 ounces of hot coffee. Preheating the mug with boiling water is optional, but recommended. Heat the cider in a pot until near boiling. Pour the hot cider into the mug. Add the batter and give a quick stir. The recipe is scalable. 1 heaping teaspoon batter for every 4 ounces of hot cider. Preheating the mug with boiling water is optional, but recommended. So there you go. That is how to make hot buttered rum. I believe that last year I talked about fat washing. And if I didn't, I probably should have recommended a video from Greg of how to drink. He has a great video on fat washing. Basically, the idea is you take a whole bottle of the rum of your choice. For this, I would actually recommend a white rum. And you're going to use it. Don't heat it too much because you don't want to burn off too much alcohol. And you're going to put the butter right into it, and suspend the butter in the alcohol. And then you're going to pour it out into a bowl. Actually, you know what? You're better off just going and checking out Greg's video on it. It gets a little bit detailed, and it involves freezing. Well, you could do it in the refrigerator, but it's a lot faster to just put it in the freezer. When that layer of butter on top thickens, you poke a hole through it, pour out the alcohol, and you will see it's a bit cloudy, and it's got that kind of buttery flavor to it. Very, very good. Not a bad idea as they're talking about butter here. Experiment with browning the butter, where you melt the butter on its own in a saucepan until it just starts to look like a little bit of a caramel color. Take it off the heat really quick. Keep mixing it until it cools down slightly, and then use it in your recipe as it says. Brown butter, which some people just say, well, that's just burned. Well, okay, whatever. You're charring, caramelizing, denaturing the butter, and it gives this really nice nutty flavor. It's really, really good. Great thing to do in baking as well, especially when caramel is involved. And now that I think about it, caramel would actually go really well with a buttered rum. So something to think about. I could see this served with a cinnamon stick, and now that I think about it, we have some cinnamon sticks. So it's a great way to keep warm. Depending on what your ratio is like, you could be drinking almost straight rum with the batter. So take it slow. Sweet drinks have a tendency to hit you hard and fast. You end up drinking more alcohol than you realize you are, which is why, I always say at the end of every stream, drink responsibly. And I mean more than that too. I mean, obviously, be aware of your inebriation. Don't drink and drive. Don't sign any contracts when you've been drinking. Maybe be very mindful of the conversations you're having when you've been drinking. Just saying. And if alcohol's a problem for you, don't drink at all. I don't say that very often, but maybe you shouldn't drink if you know that is a problem for you. I have no problems with alcohol. I drink, I get drunk, I fall down, no problem. Hail all, smash the like button and enjoy the show. Yes, thank you so much for stopping in, Jonathan Conroy. Good to see you. And yes, this Kraken here is still from last week. It's just been here since last week. I haven't put it back on the Canarble wagon yet. This is not being used in my buttered rum. My buttered rum is a white rum. Captain Morgan, I think. Pretty sure it's Captain Morgan. Dean Martin used to say this too. Don't drink and drive. You might hit a bump and spill your drink. That's alcohol abuse. Don't do that. That's bad. And good afternoon to you as well, Jonathan Conroy. Thank you so much for being here. Catching up. My neighbor had a water line that burst due to the cold. Not fun. We've seen that happen around here too. 1 year, not too long after we moved in, the main line burst out by the street. And the whole street, we're on a 4-lane street, very busy street. It completely flooded. And the water came over the curb, up our front yard, front lawn, and got literally up to our front step. That's as far as it went. And I looked and I'm like, whew, thank goodness. And then I realized the water's still pouring out of the water main, which is kind of in front of our house. You could see it, kind of into the street. And I'm like, I wonder why it only went this high and no higher. And then Netter pointed to the school next to us. And when I looked, I saw that all the water that was in the street was pouring down because their driveway goes down. And the whole parking lot is much, much lower. It's almost like we're up on a hill compared to the school. And it was all pouring down there. So the water could only get so high before everything was just pouring into the school. And directly across the driveway from us is the, it's the back of the school, but that's where the garage doors are for their shop class. And their shop was just filling up with water. There was nothing we could do. Nothing we could do. It was sad. But the upside is we know we're actually in a very good position to not worry about flooding. Knock on wood, we've never had to worry about flooding in the house. Well, that's not entirely true. We've had internal problems that have caused flooding, like a stupid plumber that, flooded the kitchen, which flooded the basement. But I mean, outside when it rains, when we have, mains break and stuff like that, we don't normally have to worry about flooding here. But yeah, it is that cold. So another thing to keep in mind, especially if you have a very old house where the pipes are maybe still metal pipes. There are very few houses like that anymore. If the pipes are very close to the exterior, it might not be a bad idea when it starts getting really cold to run your water, a little bit of a trickle. That moving water is much harder to freeze in the pipes. It'll keep the pipes open. Another thing, sometimes if your, for example, your kitchen sink is against an outside wall, that area underneath the kitchen cabinet can sometimes get very, very cold. So maybe not a bad idea to just leave that cabinet open. And yes, the bleach and the and the Tide Pods and stuff, will all be exposed. But leave it open, then the warm air from the room circulates and warms those pipes so that the water doesn't freeze in the elbow there. I called the water department as soon as I saw the leak. They literally took all night to figure out what they were doing because they were that incompetent. Yep, they couldn't even get their pump to work. The upside was that we now have a wider driveway. That's right. In the process of trying to fix the main, they had to tear up, that patch of grass that's, between the sidewalk and the street to get at the pipe. And in so doing, they had to tear up part of our driveway, the skirt of our driveway. And in so doing, they said, don't worry, we'll repair this. And they did, but they repaired it a little bit wider. And honestly, it was an improvement. It was like the guys that were doing it didn't know what it looked like before they started to make it exactly the way it was. So they made it the way it should be, which, is a little bit of a flare on either side. So, or at least even on both sides. And that was a nice thing. I was very pleased with that. That was an upside for us. Minor inconvenience that led to a slight, improvement on the property. Well, I'm not going to artificially run the stream late. As I said, I'm going to chaperone. Well, I guess in a way, I'm going to chauffeur you guys all over to Wilkie's Movies and Music. He is not starting for another half hour. He's starting a little late today. That's okay. Drop in, hit the like button, leave him a comment, let him know that I sent you. Stick around if you're not doing anything. Always you can listen to these videos, with your earbuds while you're working or whatever. But tonight, if you can make it, after Big Al's movie tonight, come on over for karaoke. You can sing with us if you want to. Not a lot of people take us up on it, but I've noticed a lot of people do like to come by and hear us bellyache the songs out. It's oftentimes a lot of fun. 100 pages to go. You're still on Batman Resurrection? But yeah. Also, I just realized when I saw Connie, I saw, hi Connie, but no, when I saw Lynn's comment, that reminded me, I was going to tell you a little story. I was on late last night because I was checking things I have a checklist that I go through at the end of the night, and I just happened to check my email, and I got a nasty gram from YouTube. Since we started back with Live from Sparkwood and 21, and I've started running the promos for it, that piece of music that I use for Live from Sparkwood and 21, which is copyright free, keeps getting hit with a copyright claim automatically. So I have to contest it almost every day. And it's a pain. I hate it. It always happens at like right around midnight. So I happened to catch it. I immediately went, and I literally have a piece of text that I just copy and paste into the, please check the attribution please have a human being check the attribution in the video, and then go to the link that I have there that goes to the actual video you're claiming, where it says that the author makes no claim on it. He is not, claiming any rights on this. So please remove this. And I'm doing it every single day. After Michael French gets back from Egypt, we're going to do a stream talking about all the YouTube chicanery. Speaking of YouTube chicanery, tonight's and every time we do karaoke, we're doing it on the green machine. We're starting here so that everybody gets the notification. We get to greet you and say hi, and then we ask you to join us over on the green machine, where you can also, drop rumble rants or do whatever, just like you would over here, but we don't have to deal with the copyright trolls over there. That's why I always call it the platform of freedom. Yes, AI sucks in that regard. There is no, this is not going to change, folks. There are certain things about AI that are incredibly good and incredibly realistic. It passes the Turing test on many, many levels, but it's never going to be human level. There needs to be a decision-making process that really, really pays attention. What's even worse is, why am I bothering to put I put the attribution for the song into the description, and you can see it right now below. You can see the attribution for that tune right now, and you can go to White Bat's channel and hear that song and hear a lot of other music that he's done. I encourage you to do that. But you would think the AI would also read, you can, because Grok does this. It goes out and reads articles to get information. It could read my description and see the attributions, but no, it doesn't do that. A human being has to do that. And then it always takes about 12 to 24 hours for that to happen. If it happens on a Friday, it won't be settled until Monday when someone gets in the office. And what's even worse is, if that comes close to the end of the month, any revenue for that video is being held, and I don't get paid for it. Serious. Well, not until the following month anyway. It's incredibly, incredibly frustrating. YouTube Collective is going to assimilate. Yes, it is. Okay. So I guess I did end up running over. So I want to thank you guys all for being so patient with me, but please do stick around so that you can go over and encourage Corey as soon as the credits are over with. I want to thank you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, safe, healthy, and warm weekend. Stay indoors as much as possible. Bundle up. If you're with someone you love, bundle up together. That's always, always a good thing. Take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated. This is as important in cold weather as it is in hot weather. Drink responsibly. And see you on the next one, which I hope is tonight for karaoke. Salute.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.